Hi guys, it's Sam here with Bargain Hunting Blonde, and today I am here to have a quick chatty video and update you guys kind of on my Hermes journey, mainly about my sales associate. I don't know if it's a debacle, but just kind of what this last year has happened with my sales associate. Without further ado, let's dive in and start with where I started. So I started in San Francisco with a great sales associate who was recommended to me by an Instagram friend who shopped with her, and she was great. She got me my 2 Birkins. We really connected well. We were similar in age. She was slightly older than me, but connected really well. She wasn't the best texter. She would not text me back a lot. She was much more of someone who would call on the phone, but she definitely kept me in mind when she would see something come in, since my asks are so specific. The Vert Cypress Birkin, the Barania Birkin, like that was all her. And clearly I want what's different from a lot of other people. Like I do not want a mini Kelly at all. And like I know that's like people's number one request. So we got along really well. She let me know in July, August of last year, so 2022, that she was going to be moving to San Diego for her husband's job, and that they would be relocating and she would be working at the San Diego Hermes. And so at that time we kind of discussed, and it seemed like it made more sense for me to be able to switch to another sales associate in San Francisco. So she kind of said, hey Sam, I know what you're like. Which of these 4 different people I can think of do you think you would fit best with? So I picked one, and she was more an emailer than a texter, which is totally fine. I'm on my email 24/7. I'm an attorney, if you guys didn't know, and almost everything is done in writing via email. So I'm constantly checking my email. So not a problem there. And so I reached out to her, and she didn't get back. She had reached out to me initially, and then I reached out to her being like, hey, can we set up a time? I'm super excited to meet you. Whenever I start working with a new sales associate, regardless of the brand, I don't send them like a crazy, oh, these are all the things I want wish list. I just normally say, hey, can we meet up? Because I'd like to get to meet them, and then we can talk about it. And I don't know. I find that interaction is a lot better. That's what I do with work when I meet new counsel. Like, hey, can we discuss this on the phone? I think is a really good way to start. And then from there, we can exchange emails. It's just good to know who you're dealing with. And for work with other attorneys, maybe their level of upsetness or aggression or what their client wants, it just works better. Phone, Zoom, in person. So she just never got back to me. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I let probably a couple weeks go. As you guys will have heard, or if you've ever talked to me and we DM'd, I am not an aggressive sales associate pursuer. I'm not going to harass them and continually keep messaging them. I don't like when people do that to me, so I try not to do it to others. So I wasn't I need something right now. Let me just see, maybe she's really busy. A lot of people were moving around in the SF store to other places. A lot of things happening. It's summertime. So I reach out to her again, and she actually gets back to me, and she's like, oh, so sorry for not getting back to you. I am actually leaving Hermes, and so I'm going to need to switch you to another sales associate. So at this point, this is sales associate number 2 in San Francisco. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Totally understand. Best of luck on your next journeys. And so then I get the contact information for a 3rd sales associate in San Francisco, and she was nice, but not very responsive, which was unfortunate as well. And so actually I had sent her basically this is what I'm looking for. And Victoria, who was my first, way back in the beginning, sales associate, who no longer works at Hermes, so it's okay that I say her name. She had actually reached out to me with a piece of the porcelain you wanted came in to the store I'm now working in. Please come and do you want me to order it? Are you coming down to San Diego? Let me know. And so I was like, no, I'm not, but can you just send it to me? And I was like, will that be an issue with the other sales associate that I'm currently working with? And I had reached out to her to see if she could order it for me. And she's like, oh no, just order it through Victoria. And I was like, okay. So I did. And then Victoria kept coming across things that I had asked about and would reach out to me, while I never heard from the San Francisco-based SA. So at that point, I called Victoria on the phone, and we had a talk, and I was like, hey, can I keep shopping with you? I know I'm not based in San Diego. I can get down to San Diego, no problem. I spend a lot of time in LA. I have family in LA and outside of LA. I have friends in San Diego, and no issue, driving from LA to San Diego. And so she's like, of course, same wish list, all of that. So I then kept shopping with her. So this is now probably into winter / winter of 2022, winter of 2023. So beginning of this year. And so I kept shopping with her. She'd send me things up from San Diego. She'd let me know if anything was coming in. At one point, she thought the Kelly that I was really hunting for was coming in, and then it was not the right blue color, so it ended up flying down. But she was really great. And then I went to visit her in May of this year, so May 2023, and she let me know that actually she was leaving Hermes. She's going back to school. Her kids are like at the age where it's good for her to go back to school, so that's what she was doing. So I was really bummed at that point because now I'm technically on my 4th sales associate, who was my first sales associate, and that's in like the span of like 6 months, with really no fault of my own. I mean, I guess maybe I could have been more aggressive with the 3rd SF sales associate I got, but even when I asked her if like she would like prefer me to order through her versus Victoria, she was like, oh no, just order it through Victoria. So I don't know if she didn't really want my business. I had tried to, I had called her and I had texted her being like, hey, can I come in? And she just never got back to me. So that was a bit of a bummer. And then I was really sad Victoria was leaving because like I said, she just totally got what I wanted. And so then I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, so not only have I gone through 3 sales associate in San Francisco in 6 months, but I also, I didn't even want to switch. I never wanted to switch to begin with. So it wasn't like I was trying to like sales associate hop because I wasn't getting what I wanted. Like, no, that was not at all what it was. So now I'm shopping in the San Diego store, but I'm based in the Bay Area. San Francisco, well, technically Palo Alto is closer, but the Palo Alto store gets nothing, so no. So shopping in the San Francisco store, and like, what do I do? So I talked to Victoria again on the phone when she said she was leaving, which was, as I said to my husband, devastating. And she put me in contact with my current SA in San Francisco, who is great, who they actually have known each other for a very long time, like 9+ years, outside of Hermes. So he's been really great. It's been great working with him. We really click. We get along really well. He sometimes will just text me to ask me for updates of like what's happening at my job, because where I work is like very much in the news. And we'll just chat. And as soon as he sees something he thinks I might like, he'll set it aside for me. He sends me pictures. He's really good about remembering what I'm interested in. I appreciate he's super straightforward and honest about like, listen, you want something very specific. This is going to take us some time to get, which I understand and I have no issue with. Like, I am 100% content to wait to get exactly what I want. So it's been a really great experience, but that means that I technically ended up with a 5th sales associate in about a year. So technically it was 4 different people, but it was technically my 5th sales associate because I went back and forth from Victoria, who was my first. So it has been crazy, I will say, and I have had this honest discussion with 2 of the sales associates. Like, what happens with my like pre-spend or like my account and what I bought at Hermes? And they have all said like they can see what you've purchased and they will take that into account. But I also do think that with a lot of the SAs, there is them wanting you to spend the money with them, which is why they don't like you to shop around and to stick with one sales associate. And so I do think it kind of hurts me in the sense that like my previous purchases are there, but they're not necessarily going to help towards like me getting a quota bag. Which is unfortunate because like I was not at all trying to change sales associates in any of this. So it just is what it is. It's kind of how it worked out. But now I think I'm in a really good spot with a great sales associate. He's very responsive via text, phone calls. He always makes time for me to come in. I mean, he's already invited me to some of their events, which I really appreciate because I think the events are great to see the ready-to-wear because I love their ready-to-wear. SF once had that really cool leather event. They have events with your dogs. Like, those are the good ways to build relationships with your sales associates. So I think I'm in a good path now, but I do feel like no matter what they tell you, sales associates are going to take into account somewhat what you are buying with them, which I get. Like, there's commissions involved. So that doesn't actually bother me at all. It's just a little bit unfortunate when you're sales associate hopping, not at your own doing. If I was, you know, unhappy or like felt I needed to switch for a different reason, like that's different. But in these cases, it was out of my hands. So that is my kind of crazy 1 year with five, technically four Hermes sales associates. So I'd be really interested to know your guys' experience with sales associates. I know they're all over the place. So if you guys want to chat, please feel free to DM me, comment down below. I love to discuss these things. I love to hear what you've heard about, you know, spending with one sales associate versus others. I know we all hear different things, so I'm always intrigued. It's kind of like putting together a little like Hermes puzzle of like who has heard what and what means what. And it can be store dependent, it can be sales associate dependent. So that's pretty crazy. But thank you so much for tuning in today, guys. If you like these sort of chatty videos, Hermes reviews, Hermes reveals, other luxury fashion house reveals, please make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video, which is once a week. Thank you so much for tuning in today, guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.